يا رسول الله يا محمد صلى
أهلا وسهلا وكل عام وأنتم بخير. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. It is the 20th of Shawwal. It is the 9th of April 1447 2026. And as we as Muslims, mashallah, acknowledge that the dark precedes the light, the night precedes the day, the ignorance precedes the knowledge. This is the nature and the sunnah of your journey, that you emerge and I emerge from a state of stagnancy, a state of unawareness, a state of delusional experiences, and then the heavens intervenes by splitting your time conscious realities. MashaAllah. Everything in your lives are numeral. It is only numbers. Your salat times are numbers, your dates are numbers, your times are numbers, your date of birth is a number, your account is a number, and that is how you numb your root. That's the numb root. That's how you lose connectivity with that which you ultimately are being naturally fed by your roots, through your roots, from your spiritual connections and your spiritual family and your soul tribe. This is your nature. You are made in this natural order, as Allah has created nations and He's created tribes. You are from the tribes because you come in at the time when the darkness descends, you and I ascend into a higher realm of perceptualization and visibility. This is how the heavens elevates the next stage for you to evolve in a new reality. That is where Aisha, the story of the Noor, of Surah An-Noor, when the light starts coming, when the Syrian star is in the east is inside of us, not outside of us. It is above us. But we have to find that Jabal Noor to put on the light of inner standing. This is the journey that Allah is now casted for the new generations after Fir'aun, the fear-mongering. Fir'aun is the negative part of our journey, where the soldiers of Fir'aun is anger, is fear, it's scarcity, it's money, it's status, it's ego. That's part of the soldiers of Fir'aun in your lives. That is how you lose your contact with your higher selves, because you are subjected to the disconnection. No peace, no ease. It's always a running game. You're focusing in the future and you're not even able to be present to understand that everything is at peace where you are if you're inside. Once you are outside, you are in another territory, you're in another space. But whilst you remain in your sanctuary, that is where you will always be shielded divinely, because that is your sovereign haqq. You are given that from your ancestors and from the heavens. But you must know who you are. And this is the age now that the new generations that is incoming after they saw the last generation closing their places of worship, they knew that that is a shift in a new reality, because they had to now recalibrate and spun a new story, because the old story shot itself in the foot. This is now how a new Aisha, a new virgin child, a new virgin daughter, a new module of a reality is being spun. for those who were not caught in the net during the Sabbath. Okay? This is the age where we are now understanding that it was not animations of stories, of imaginations, of mythologies, of different time conscious lines of people, but it was a story that was supposed to be experienced through your eyes, where you witness it. So you witnessed your own start when it came to the change in the order after the mosques was closed and the churches. That's the end of a God reign. You have to now repitch your system, and now that you are in a technologically advanced civilization, you have to have presence in that space. You have to have a authentic presence there, not a biblical or a Babylonian. You have to have your authentic identity to identify with your presence and those where you come from. This is the order of the universe when you return. You are in the return format. You are in a retrograde of a patterning back. This is where you are in conscious now. Your child, your inner child that has gone through the metamorphosis, that child knows, but you're not listening to that child. That child hears you, but you're not listening to it. So you have to make peace between your inner child here. This is the time when the darkness is going to come out and you're going to see the light, because the wrong is being exposed. The dark is coming out. This is the nature of your planetarian lifestyle. This is natural now. You can't use a philosophy. You must use the natural senses to guide you through the way. And that is how you will learn to know the laws of the universe. You will find the magic of the divine thread that you can only use if you have control of both your hands, the Yameen and the Shimal. Your hand is your brains. You put it together, it becomes your brain. That is your right brain and your left brain. Your left brain was activated in the last age because you were mythologically and psychologically reversed in your psychology. Now you're going back to the Musa, the right brain. You're going to activate a new intuition of what you're going to rationalize through that lenses. This is the order of the universe. This is how the life is expanded, and this is where the warda, this is where the rose is now coming out. That is why they call the Zahra, Fatima to Zahra. You know, when Aisha comes, Fatima must come. That's why the Persians, they pioneered the Zahra, and the Abbasiyats and the Dawlat Uthmaniyya, they pioneered the Azhar, the masculine and the feminine. It's the same words. That's why Azhar, it has the Ha and the Ra at the end. And then Hurmus has the Ha and the Ra in the beginning. So these spells are what ancient civilizations had been formatting for millions of decades in order to capitalize on the mythologies of a God, of a supreme ayah of Allah. And that is how they casted themselves as the living ayatullahs. They mostly have the spiritual order for the manipulation of this kind of frequency. They are ancient in this field, very ancient. They have taken many civilizations through, and they survived it always. This time around, the cards has changed, but they are unaware because they are only playing the same movie they've been playing throughout civilizations. But this time there is a tilt in the system, there's a flip in the system, there's a tahweel of the qibla. Your makeup, your mindset, your perspectives are all in the format for your next generations to understand the divine presence in a much more magnified formula, because they were not given true access. There was always a middleman And now they're going to understand themselves to understand who their God is. This is their sovereign right. This is what they are being customized in this new dispensation. Whatever the faults that had led to the demise of the last narrative of that past civilization, they will embody those wounds, and through the metamorphosis of the healing will they find amicable solutions to not repeat that same perpetual dogmatic formats of coexisting. You are here to live and experience, not to own and assemble. You have to realign with this new incoming Kietaab. This is a Kietaab. This is the Kietaab of Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr here, metaphorically speaking, comes from the word bukra, bikr. Okay, it is the new qurra. It's the new ball that is coming in. Okay, that is a virgin's maiden state that you are now going to experience uniquely and individually if you are able to be and remain authentic. Now, the greatest dilemma of authenticity is when you and I cannot say what is the lie. We cannot say the truth. Okay? Now, if you fail to speak the truth, if you fail to exist and allow truth to go through your system verbally and in a vibration, then your vocal cords are because the only frequency that the higher self knows and conforms to is the truth. That's the only submission she knows. She makes sujood to that. So when you live in a double barrel world, okay, and you think that you must still go through the metamorphosis of death and not realize that death can mean calamity, death can mean change, death can mean pain, death can mean so many things, because if you sleep, you're also in a death zone. So you and I, you have to refine our cycles and understand that when the night comes, when the dark comes, everything changes. Not at 12 o'clock at night, you have to change a number. You have to immediately flip it at the time when the shades are exchanged. It's important not to fall into those traps, because it's naturally embodied in your psychology and in your astro psychics. Okay, your body works directly with the cosmos, with the universe. It works directly. This is the age of spirituality, people. This is why religions came, in order to prepare you for this journey. This was the original journey that humanity came to experience in this realm, and now they are returning to that natural order. This is where it is what they call the Ayyamillah. It is the ages of God now, not of Julius Caesar, of the Persians, of the Romans, of the Arabs, of the Ottomans. It is your soul presence now. How conscious are you? In which age have you matured to? Have you been stuck in a certain past age? Have you been shuffled into a blockage? Are you on which chain? All those things are now shuffled into perspective so that you can know who is your God at this time, because your past is gone and there is no future ahead. The present is your current. See, that's your currency now. So whilst the war is feeding off your energies, okay, it's important to understand that we are heading into a fully blown new reality, and those who cannot understand it was not given right of pass. This is where the Salatul Khawf comes in. Each one goes on his category as to how scared, how unknown, how guilty, how selfish. All those trademarks now can be the root cause for you not being qualified. Ahilla, right? This is very sacred times in the heavens, people, for all of humanity and for all of Allah Ta'ala's makhluqat, because all of them make tasbih for Allah. Only those who know will know what they are doing and why they are doing it. So, mashallah, this is a age where you must understand the essence why you were in religion, so that you can use that sciences now to co-create new vision, new disciplines, new yani, faculties of how to co-create without being materialistic, without being egotistical, without looking at each other's yani, superficial features, but rather to work on your purpose and your cause and your yani, future of your generations. That is how you solely live, if you work on the heart and not on the face. So, mashallah, tabarakallah, we are very fortunate in civilizations to have reached an era where we can self-proclaim our divine connection without needing a middleman, because everyone received a book, everyone received a message, everyone received a messenger, and everybody received a Rasul, because a Rasul just switches on your soul, a raw soul. Just yani, opens the window for you and I to further expand yani, our sama, our higher dimensions of understanding the phenomena of death and life, and what it is to eradicate that fear that is the root of our deception. This is the age where your children and your next generations, with Allah's qudra, people, mashallah, where Allah will identify with them exactly what He meant in the Quran, and not as a history tale, but rather as a book of where your conscious map is drawn, if you have the ability to decode and also listen and also connect. Okay, because it's all only processing internally. It's not you have it internally installed if you activate it and you yani, subscribe. This is essential for your journey, especially so that your next children can understand where they must be and where you're going to meet them, because this is how you co-create the Jannah where your ancestors found you in. This is a nature of Allah. This is the sunnatullah fil ard. وَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا. There's no way you can replace Allah's fitrah. You cannot replace nature. You have to remain subservient and a Muslim to nature. All of us must be friendly to nature and not superficially guide people from another pulpit, but rather to do it from the heart of every city, and that is the mother. That's the mother city of every nation and every tribe. This is where humanity failed, because she could not live with the spirit as one. She had to be separated. So she killed herself, and that is how they buried the daughters alive. We cannot repeat that mythologies in our lives. We cannot interpret the Quran to have been in a particular yani, timeline, because our Rabb has no time. Our messengers are not bound to time. Our message resolves when we go internally, when we confront the dark space, when we question that the problem is not outside if the pain is inside. It is only messages bringing you a clear mandate that the problem is internally. Now you have to resolve that problem internally in order to find the light. Otherwise, you're not going to know where the switch is. This is a work that you're going to thrive to do. And those who has done the work early, they're going to become the life coaches, the consultants, and in order to architect a framework of how the tribes must return. They build new structures into this dimension. It is not new, it is nature, people. Nature designs it as what is culminating in her space. So whoever is part of that space now has taken up their sovereign space. Their sustenance is now going to be processed through these different sources and unfoldings and uncoverings and experiences. This is how the universe, in collaboration with the Quran, وَقُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا, it is a natural process where you and I understand that the letter is also sound, and the sound has a particular flow. It has a particular wave length that infiltrates onto your biofield and onto your light body and onto your hemispheres. This is how the breath becomes a data source now, because if you breathe, you think something else, because that is what is feeding you, not the oxygen. Now, these metaphysical matters is going to become sciences in your understanding of your journey, because you are living today in a spiritual, conscious, advanced civilization. And if you do not understand how to use the tools that Allah has made accessible, you will pay and be enslaved by your adversary, and you will and your sins will follow you. That is that order of that lifestyle. So, mashallah, you cannot guide anybody. Allah must guide you. You cannot want for somebody that Allah doesn't want. You have to maintain your space today. This is the age where you need to know who you are, not who someone else is. If you know somebody more better than yourself, then that is either your soulmate, because you cannot divorce ever. It is eternal, that journey. Okay, because there's nothing that you hide. But the moment there is lies, the moment there is secrets, the moment there is impurities and there is doubt, that is Jahim. That is where you have to hide the lie. That is how you have to put it under a code and a password, so that you can fix yourself into that cell in your body. Okay? This is darkness. That is things you have to bring out of your system. That is how you going to get some clearance into understanding how to unlock yourself from that captures, from that darkness, because the wound is deep, it's inside. And the more you put medications, which is manufactured through the oil companies, the more they oil you, the more they suck you dry. Okay? This is the phenomena as to how they exchange your conscious currency for a promissory note that nobody fulfills. Okay? The children has set a criteria what lies and what truth is. They can only stick to the truth because they came in the age where they saw and see the truth from the falsehood. So their bandwidth is only the haqq. That is what we call the children of Ishaq. That is the side where they keep the truth to remain in the sun, and to remain in the light, to remain in the nur. That is why they used to call them the tribes of the sun. That is how you got this mythologies through the times, but it was all guided through your intuitive portfolios, so that you have a link to the unknown, to where civilization shifts to through her different seasons. This is amanat. This knowledge is sacred knowledge. You don't share it with outsiders, like the Persians doesn't share it, the Chinese doesn't share it. They put it in formats of calendars, in formats of festivities, in formats of sacrificial times, in formats of religious occasions, so to speak, spiritual occasions. And that is how you format a lifestyle that is compliant with divine regulations, universal law that governs, that realm. That's the realm of akhirah. That's the higher senses. When you awaken there, where you thought death was, this was the trial you had to go through in order to see what death is, because life is death. You have to realize these kind of factors, because it's the fear that has kept you in hope. Okay, the fear that's kept you in World War One, World War Two, World War Three. But if you look around you, there's no hope. But you are in that anxiety, you are in that edge, because that is how that programming is meant to keep you destabilized. It's all psychological spells. It's magicians that is busy with you because you are outside of your house. Okay, so the Quran is your sahib. That will take you into your Jabal Nur. That is where you summit. That is where the soul tribes are now en route. That's the Hormuz. That is the strait now. That's the Sirat. You have to now find your individuality, your singularities, because that is where courage is dominant. That is where fear is less, much less. And that is where peace is your weapon. Okay? This is true for those who are alive in where religion was once upon a time enjoying, but commercialization had extracted a ruh. That is the imra'ata lutin wa imra'ata Nuh. Okay? But then you find also imra'ata Fir'aun, the feminine side of Fir'aun, the part that we forgot, that nature, that kindness, that gentleness. This is the Muhammad age, when you understand that Muhammad did not come specifically to bring division. Muhammad came to upgrade the humanity of the divine children, of the Nur children, in order for them to understand that the interaction between two people is not on the boundaries of religion, but on the boundaries of your character, your akhlaq, not through a man-made division of laws. That was not the purpose why Allah created the source of a prophecy of this level of Fatima. This is the way you bloom, your character, your best of your character comes now. You find the wisdom and you find the strength to be the person you always needed to be, or you always wanted to understand why you feel that way, or how you see it in that way. And now the integrity is going to be your key. You don't divorce from your integrity. This is the most beautiful time for the soul tribes to reciprocate the heavenly gifts, the heavenly portions. The nasib of the akhirah is what you are getting, because as you know, all the new stories has to be now rewritten, because now you can only speak the truth, and the only truth you can speak is the truth that you witness. And that is where you have to start with your story as to how did the Rasul come in your life, not in physicality, in your mental, conscious and sincere interactions as how you grow. And then finally, you must activate the asma of Allah, not the word Allah. Al-Alim, As-Sami, Al-Qadir, Al-Wadu. You have to get that in your system, because that is the most vital tool in a spiritual conscious age today. That is how you communicate. That is your nodes there. So these are things that is inculcated already in the bone structure of your next generations. They will know Allah by the means of intuitions, not artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is here to destroy humanity and to replace them in an artificial chamber. Okay? That is eternal. That is khalidina fiha abada. There's no ruh there. There is no authentic pathway there. It is fictionally casted. It's the crux of your fiction. That is the crucifixion that you have lived through. So it's important that you understand where your home is, because in this next new moments, you need tribes, you need soul tribes, not money, people. Money is not gonna need. You're not gonna need money in this time because when COVID came, and that was Ibrahim and his guests, and the ضيف Ibrahim al-Mukramin, but you could not reach it because it was unable to activate because of my and your toxicity, how toxic, how mulawwath, polluted, how يعني disconnected our يعني source or our processes were. Okay, you and I can only find life in this age, yani, if you find the truth that lives in your next generation. They are speaking the truth, but you are not listening to them because you are in you and I are in Iran. In the next minute, we are in Pakistan, and then we back to Saudi, and then we gone into Malaysia. We are all over, but we are not just home, and that is how they evict you, and that is how you remain all the time serving a narrative, a system that has no relevance with your present current location. That is yani, that's hijack, that's human trafficking. Okay, so there is a need, and when there's a need, there is essentials, and that is what this tribe now will remodule in life. Okay, the system, the legal system, will be replaced by the AI because you can must understand now. And since COVID, all these things has been flipped, people. It's just you have to now digitalize it or realize it, one of the two. But what you need to embrace is that change is inevitable. You have to realize that because it's going to not be a comfortable mode to remain where you are consciously. The God has spoken and the haq has come. Ja al haq. You can't keep it away because you're not bearing it outside of you. You're only bearing it yourself into it. Your children, they live completely separate, but they see it in different perspectives. They see us in the dark and they see in front of them. They're not believing in a past. They believe in the future because they're living in the present. And they are going to experience it in real time, not in a dream, not in a religion, in a real spiritual conscious presence, where Allah is designing a methodology where they will live in a different life module, but in most close, qurba, very close in the divine order. This is how they are going to be sustained from the heavens. Nothing remains the same, people. Since COVID, and that nature was deposed. We disposed of that nature. Nature never repeats the same mistake twice. You have to understand the nature of things as it now terminates the old, and it self-determines a new chapter, a new kitab in our lives. So you have to understand that it is not a natural order. It is a wa'ad, it is a promissory system. This, if you fulfill your promise, Allah will fulfill His promise, and you alone will see Allah give the promise, because you must witness it and you must be testimony when He delivers on His promise. Okay, this is shahada. This is shahada. You don't know Allah until you understand what it is to engage with the Allah frequency, with the prime source, cycles and systems. This is natural. It's not something that is for saints. It's something where you just know who you are. And if you're in your house, you will be guided by those who are of your house. Okay? So this is the time that you now, with Allah's qudra, are going to see a more inclusive world coming to being. And judgment is not in the Jannah, judgment is in Jahannam, people. That is where the age of religion and colonization has come to an end now. You now have to come to terms with, and there is no second class, first class. There's only one grade, and those are the people who knows who they are. إنما يريد الله أن يذهب عنكم رجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. This cleansing was so vital in your system, because the heavens first embrace kindness, like rahmah, so that you can cleanse and face up to the weaknesses and the mistakes. There was no sin in your life. You sin against yourself when you sin. We became forgetful, because from the jinn, from the darkness, we found the light, and then we forgot when we became ins. That's why there's a difference between ins and insan. Ins is insa, alif, noon, sin. Okay, is where you are made to forget. And now when you can recall what was your authentic position and disposition, which is in the Jan, then you will put on the marbuta and call it the Jannah. This is your order of your cycles, which is divinely injected in the conscious realms where you are swimming with your tasbih. Your tasbih comes from your chain, from your family tree, from your roots, from where you are authenticated. That's original. You cannot barter that. You cannot sell that. That is your sovereign property, asset. This is your passport through all your stages. The more you safeguard it, the more it grows, the more the value increases, because that is your true currency. This is where abundance becomes a state of consciousness. This is the age you are coming in, people. This is why what religion had prepared us for. This is why we endured that night time span in our journey, so that when the lights goes on inside, we have already patterned that in our cycle. Okay, so we now understand, we're getting the fawaki of the Jannah, and fiha ma tashtahi anfusukum fakihina, and you are getting now the real purposes, the real fruits, the real nutrition, so that you find your ruh, you find your completeness, you find your being. This is where we go into in this order. It's metaphysical. It is the qiyam. It is time where you find the new you, because the old you has died when the new Rasul came, when the new message came, when the new system went for upgrade, and where there was a closure on the strait, and now it's going to open in 14 days. It's all spells that you're going in, but you must understand it is pathway for you to realize that you need to co-create with your soul family, because you cannot follow somebody else's calendar nor somebody else's path. You have to converge with your timeline and your authentic tribes. This is the nature of the Sama. This is how you will narrate and upgrade your sciences and your psychologies and your philosophies, because not even Aristotle or the past ages is going to reach the intelligence that your next generations are going to find in a natural source. MashaAllah, they will be the bearers of this knowledge of Allah. This is the new grain harvest, and MashaAllah, you must be fortunate in this land, for your great ancestors had entitled your next generations with this heritage. It doesn't come from banks, it comes from the heavens, people. This is true wealth. This is the mirah of the Sama when you qualified for it. It's not what you work for and what you studied. Whatever you believed in, whatever you studied, it's not going to be sufficient to sustain yourself in a natural order where it was promised. This is the order of the heavens, and you have to obey it. You can't go against it, otherwise you're fighting the war with yourself. And this is the time where silence is your weapon. listening to yourself and to understand the codes that is being unlocked in your minds and in your hearts. Very important that this twin flame comes into existence in your lives now, because this is the fire that is going to keep the light burning inside. This is the peace. The kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim. This is the time you have to now find the harmony. See, do you have it to forgive? Yani, without having to examine where is the problem? Who is the problem? Why was the problem? Where did it come from? This is where you need to be, not take tablets anymore. You're taking tablets to tell yourself that you're sick, and that's why you allow it in your body. But the sickness is inside of you, of us. And that's the cause why it is being manifested on the outside. But you have to get to the core of the issue. It's nothing you can avoid. It is purposeful for the next generations to see the agony, and then they do not repeat the same experience. This is the truth. This is the truth of this realm if you want to embrace the nature of death, because death only gives you a new you if you learn and if you've gone into the dark unknown spaces. Death is the unknown that you have access when you are brave enough to realize that inside of the problem is the solution. But you and I are, we are wanting to have two gods, a God in the heavens and a God in earth. Our Rabb cannot live with another Rabb because gods always fight. So when you find your comfort in the rububiyyah of the divine, then you alone have a definition for Rabbul Alam. And that's your security, that's your insurance, that is your yaqeen, and that is how you pedal into that cycle. That's what you need, dear people. And that's why this community of souls now in lifestyles, they choose various platforms in their lives, the various streams, various highways, so that they can find more patterns of growth. And they're only going to find it with their own. They're not going to find it with anybody else. This is a time you have to help set up this home for them, because you have fostered children where you don't know where they live today. They're living in another realm in the mental constraint, but there is no cultural sovereign identity for them there. So your new caste, your new Holocaust here, and it's not something where they're going to find legitimacy or recognition or validation in a other timeline of a civilization, because they're not going to use the Gregorian nor the lunar calendars or other nations' calendars. They're going to find their natural seasons and use their ancestral codings so that they know when winter is and what to eat during winter. You have to use the natural order in order to resuscitate that way of how human species had co-existed. Yes? This is your age, and how you're going to see your children not becoming tablighis, not becoming Sunnis, not becoming this, and not becoming who they were made to be. Not the same. They must be different, otherwise the God is incapable of multiplying and multitasking. Okay? So all these things are already in the specifications of the new generation, because the phone gave them a setting, the analytic charts and all these different programming that they set it inside of themselves with a special lock and a key and a password and a hide your messages. It's all hidden inside of our neural orders, but it is not real. It is on a fictional reflection. It's not real. Your original technology is only inside of you, but it's being occupied with this artificial simulation. as to you not understanding what is your sovereign rights and what is your sovereign space and what you don't have to agree to without having to attract negative energies so that you maintain your space. This is the right of everyone that comes into earth. So this is a time that you can shift now as a new order and find the beauty of Allah, the beauty of akhlaq. Yani, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِيُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Not according to people's beliefs anymore. It's not going to work for the next generations. They need to know that they all have one source. And this earth is for everyone. It's not just for one person or 1% of people. You must put that as part of your beliefs. You can't legitimize it in a religion. It's not going to work in this age. Must upgrade the levels of understanding consciousness and understanding how it is to possess and what it is to own, what it is to share, what it is to have a stock of yourself, and how it is to manipulate and to manage and to regulate your sovereign wealth. That's your right. If you want for yourself what you want for others, if you don't want to amass, if you don't want to just think about yourself and your future, this age is about commonality, people. You must know who you are, and you must throw the titles out. You must throw that special, because the earth is going back to a nature, people. Money is not going to be a commodity that you trade in anymore. It's going to be a new currency. That's why the currencies are inflating and they stagflating on these different commodities, because it's in order to keep your foreign currency alive instead of giving you your ownership of what is truly in your sovereign account. You must take charge of this. This is your haqq by Allah. Because you are there now, people, because you have arrived there, only you would recognize it. Only you would be given your passport. Only you would be given your visas. Only you would know which countries you can enter, because this is sovereign space now. This is where you will find common tribes, common sources, common resources, because now you are all becoming one again. وَكُنْتُمْ عَلَى شَفَى حُفْرَةٍ مِنَ النَّارِ فَأَنْقَذَكُمْ مِنْهَا. Okay? Quran is all the time giving you your guidance, but you are using a foreign script, a completely out of the Quran. That's why the Quran says, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ مَا لِهَذَا الْقَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. Okay? So, your way of reading the text must become alive now, because that's the dead that you saw. Now you have to see new life. If there's new life inside, you're going to see the ard as something else. You're not going to see it as a flat thing. You're not going to see it as a dead thing. You're going to see where your space of attention has been placed. This is where you need to now currently feel your way through, because you are in the straight, you are in the sirat. Okay? When they say 14 days, 2 weeks, it's basically just turning you around, because 1 + 4 is 5. Okay? After 48 hours, after the deadlock, after the bombing, it's all nuclears, because it's using numbers to spell you in that conscious. Okay? So it's very important that you connect with Quran and with the authentic vibrations of your tribes now. Very authentic. Your Thursday night khadat, your Sunday mornings, your songs, your riches, your ruasas. This is the code of your tribe, people. This is your authenticity. In the next few moments, people are going to search for their identity, because they're going to be lost, because their religions are going to be exposed now. Okay? Because the new logic is going to decode that kind of mindset. Okay? So you have to understand that life must prosper. The new generations must see Allah. They must find Allah. They must have access to Allah. They must know what it is to believe in and what it is to know. You must give them the right of knowing who they are. This is Allah's will. This is from the command of the great universe and the mothers. You can't deprive the new breed from this haqq. So this is what you are being gifted, but you have a choice. Either you stay in the dark, but that is going to be perpetual and solitary confinement. You're not going to get out of that kind of space, okay? Because it's technology that is artificially stimulated. The spiritual side is it's not politics here. You're not going to need politics, because AI is going to replace every faculty of the digital world, because that is where it is capturing the new order. Okay, it's placing the SIM card already inside of your vibrations. You don't have to have it inserted. It's already made alive in words. Okay, you have to come to terms with your psychology and how you are being modeled in that kind of spell. Right? It's all inside of us. We have to know ourselves. We have to know what is our haram, where we have to not allow anything in that space. This is essential for your journey. This is not got to do with religion anymore. It's got to do with the truth. If you want to live a lie, then don't confront your sin. Rather, just ask for maaf or pay for your sin that you will perpetually go back and repeat. That's not real. That's somebody that's living in the dark. Now, with these modules and these systems, it has failed to improve and reform and restore. So a new order has come in order to revitalize the system so that humanity may go and return to loving Allah and to loving Allah's creation. That is where you and I are now headed to, for those who are pure, for the Ahlul Kietaab, for the Ahlul Bayt, for the Ahlul Badr. You know, we saw the light, we saw the Badr, we witnessed the Uhud, because that is where, after the Yawmaini, then the Uhud came, because then it happened so that the bounty, what was the in for me? I gave so much out in COVID, I did this for you, I did that. What is my reward? So those who did it for the dunya, they got it. وَمَنْ يُرِدْ نَزِدُ فِي حَرْثِ الدُّنْيَا نَزِدُ. Whoever wanted a portion of their dunya and they did it for that purpose and they wanted to see whether they are who, Allah gave them that, but to their detriment. And those who wanted the akhirah, they would get the benefits of the dunya and they would enjoy the rewards of the present akhirah. This is how the exchange has transpired in real time, in conscious presence. Okay, you have to witness it to be able to speak it. Okay? If it's not on your resonance, it's because we are in a different alam. But it doesn't mean that you are right and I'm wrong. But you're exposed to now something which is going to be a new dawn of a new rise of a child, of a mother, of a sister, of a daughter. Would you not want that for yourself? Would you not want that for your next generations? This is only from the heavens. Only the heavens can bring from death life, people. Only the heavens can bring life from the dark, from the ignorance, if you follow and search for the light. And mashallah, follow your gut, people, at this moment in your lives, and take care of those who are in your face, in your life, because those are chosen people in your life. They might not still be in your physicality only, but those are people that are going to ascend with you into this age where the dark will disappear. You're not going to know the people that remains ignorant. They are not going to be part. You're going to be in your Medina and you're not going to go back to Makkah. You're going to be cut off from that because you found your peace, you found your love, you found your place of greenery. Okay, this is the new narrative, so that it can come back to the greenness of the earth and not of the dome, because that stone, the earth in a natural stride, creates free land. And that is how you have to reciprocate the gratitude. This is the order of the heavens. It's not where you can manipulate it to another dimension of dislocating the new generations and disconnecting them from the mother pulse. You have to give them the original, authentic energy that comes from the mother, comes from the daughter. That is ultimately your trump card now. Okay? And you are a tribe in the south that has witnessed that your mothers took charge in the house. Your mothers went out that extra mile. Your mothers went and worked in the factories. Your mothers, not to make you feel better, but to see that you do not undermine her, that what she did for you, it was only to give you something which will make her feel secure. Okay? Now, because of that intention today, your next generations are getting it. They're gonna get the reward of your great grandmothers for the reasons and the purpose that they reconnect with that cycle. And they're gonna get the true essence of your authentic tribes from the south. This is the heavens. The heavens doesn't deal in money, deals in currency, in true inheritance. If you are a soul, if you are a malaika, and your mothers are malaikas. Mothers are malaikas. We are just not understanding it in the symbol that it is. Because what the mother does, no other human being does. No other animal does what the mother does. And the humiliation that she goes through the cycles, is where the man wants her, and then he pays for her, and then he finally uses her, and her values drop, and it drops until the end. Her children also doesn't want her. And then she herself has to ask God to dismiss her. This is the cycle that you see. This is the imra'ata lutin wa imra'ata Nuh, because she was abused in the cycles. This is the time in your lives today, if you want to find Jannah, and make peace with your partner, with your soulmate. Allah created everything in peace. Each one in this earth has a soulmate. If you find the soulmate, if you have that soulmate, if you have that compatibility where you don't hide anything from each other, they know each other without even talking to each other, because they're on that same frequency and biological order. They become a soul, they become one. They can go to much deeper presentations in their ascension, because they found their opposite side. They healed the inner child, they cared for the orphan, they took charge of that, and therefore they can connect with their pure opposite. That is how they become one. That is how they center. That is how they take the next steps into it. But if you are living with a partner who is bringing the worst out of you today, then you are going to go through great harm and punishment. This is the order, because you have a choice. Please, it is for your sanity. It's not about being this and contracting that. It is try to be in your space more of what you can find, to learn yourself, to take charge of yourself, to find your peace. You all need a rukn. You need a rukn shadid. You need a area where nobody can disturb you. You need this today. And that is where the Maryam story, the Mihrab comes in, the Ayub story comes in, because the healing and the gratification all must be reinstalled now. Okay? So mashallah, tabarakallah, time is over an hour. It is part of our journey. This is the migration. This was the hijrah that the Rasul came to fulfill in order to optimize the qualities of character. When people can do something, not expect anything in return, and still feel equally rewarded, then you are ready for this moment in your lives. When you and I do not search for external validation, and you are present with yourself, then you are an angel of the angels. Because then The one that guides you is your mother because she held you in your womb in the beginning. Now that the second birth is taking, this is the real you. This is the you that was hidden for 50, 60 years. And now at this time, there's a new birth of you. But some of us are in denial of that person, of that new identity, of that new cycle, of that new virgin that is incoming, of that new Aisha, of that new Yani Akhirah, that new unfolding of understanding the divine journey. Instead of following yani man-made yani systems, here Allah is availing to those who know why Allah created these past stages and what you are being delivered into now. Yeah? This is the age where you will enjoy you will enjoy Allah Ta'ala's bounties. Yeah, an'am. This is the time you will understand what it is to go through the ويل للمطففين الذين إذا اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون. Okay, where you all the time yani, miss out yourself but you prefer others over you. Okay, in your past world, this is an age where you have to put yourself first because you can't help others if you cannot first help yourself. You must give this to yourself. This is a sadaqah to yourself. You can't give sadaqah to other people. You give sadaqah to yourself because you alone be rewarded for it. So then the action is only a compliment, not a matter of riyah to make it seem as if God don't exist and that is what you gave. You were benefiting more if it was done in the organic way that you make the intention and Allah fulfills the promise. So you are completely diverted from the real and essence and values and integral and essentials of this journey. And your new generations and your new lifestyle that is coming, it's going to bring the khitam, it's going to bring the misk, it's going to bring the musk. Why? It's going to beautify your daughters and your sisters and your mothers with the most integral dignity that any civilization has ever tasted. And how honored we are to have such pure sources of life in the form of mothers and sisters and daughters. You have to give acknowledgement where it is due, and you must say it. It's the time to say it. It's not the time to fight about feminism. These are all Western philosophies, people, that you went into finding equality. The only person that you must be equal to is yourself, because then you will know what your size is. And when you know who you are, then your God will not be in the chamber of another civilization. You will be guided directly. إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء. Allah is in the present, the Rasul is in the present, the Quran is in the present. Where you are anchored in is the amount of toxicity that you have been infiltrated and been sucked into. But in real time, it is now the time of a spiritual undertaking, pure spiritual, with the bare essentials to understand what it is to live exclusively in a soul age, where your higher dimensions feeds your vision, and that is where your gratification, accomplishments, and your potential is illuminated. This is your age you have to come to terms with. This is mu'minun time. This is not branding, because this journey wants you to embrace everyone as a Muslim, not as a religion, but as a subject of nature and an element of something which could have decayed and lost its value. Now you have to switch on the lights to see the Iman. You will understand what Iman is and what is Buddha, and why it is important for a new Aisha story to be birthed in a new mythological order, as the geometry, chemistry is all changing on the frequency of this new incoming conscious wave. Okay? it's a new, mashallah. It's a new mawjun min fawqi mawjun. Okay. It is not for a religion, it is here to consolidate the souls, the universal soul, so that the healing and the joy is returned to the heart of the mother. That is your order that you are living in real time. This is the bahr that you are now making tasbih in. So there's need for someone to steer this boat, because it's a boat that is a mothership. It's a mothership that you are converging into. And the more you clean your house, the more you stay in your house, the more you keep the lights on, and the more you will become visible, the more you will see what you've been working on, and the more you will unfold into the greater plan of the universe, because that will always remain a secret between your intention and how much of work you put in to derive to your rewards. Okay? This is the order. This is how the cycles are induced, slowly, to get you secretly and silently out of the chaos. May Allah give you the nur. This is the age for you of Ahd. This is the Yawm Nur. This is the nur of when you come out of the Sabbath, after the chaos and the wars and the abduction and the hijacking and the child rituals and the blood rituals and the money magics, all those spells you've been over this last 6 years, where your Aqsa was closed, the first Qibla was closed, and now the second Qibla is open. It's all the waving of your phenomena, so that you remain in that old version, just now in a virtual space other than a physical space. Right. So just to end off now, is that the virtual world now is going to undergo a fast upgrade in realizing that when you speak to somebody in another part of the world, you're not speaking to him outside of yourself. You're communicating to him internally, because you're not with him outside. You are consciously in his timeline. And that is how you will shift from a linear to a real-time experience. And that is how technology is now bringing all the planets and all the organs, all the sources, in order to bring you back to present. Okay? This is where the wall goes up. This is where the past erodes. And this is now how a new child is birthed. That is what they call the Aisha ibn Maryam. After going past the Yam, Mar, Yam, now you're going to activate this new Sirat. Okay? No fear, total passion. Your fuel, your jet fuel here is passion. Passion, you must love what you do. You must love this atmosphere. Must love it because this is made up of your water. This is where you find energy from. Everything was created from water. Everything, because of the levels of energy that it holds. And that gives you your nutrition, not physically, metaphysically. It gives you in a energetic, intellectual, intelligent, spiritual, and mutual format. Nothing aggressive. No transactions happens here, because that's just putting you in a trance and in the action. Okay, there's no one that is unscrupulous. Okay, it is transparent, people. This is what this is coming to. If you are having that fiber of wanting for yourself what you want for others, of having to share what you have with others, or giving what you feel not is your principle, it's how you're going to find the new currency of in a way of exchanging other than one physical money, because the money doesn't exist anymore. It is now numbers on your phone. That's your new bank. That is what you trade now in that mindset, in that corridors. So you have a need to take charge of your sovereign account, your currency account, your savings account. You have to get all those things in order because hoe gaan 'n mens bankrot? Emotive. How do you go to the next age and you have nothing in storage? How do you provide for your next generation? From whose sources must they be sustained? How must they find their way? Every tribe has their storages where they must put away for the dark days. This is from the heavens, but if you're unaware, then you forfeit it and you sign your death warrants. Okay? This is all the things you now have to realize that the next 7 generations are not going to comply to that slavery laws. Okay? They're not going to be inculcated by the invasion of an Arab or a European religion or a European God or another secular God. They had known God before religion came. This was just a simulation, and now those who had always known who they will find their way to Allah, to the Rasul, but not in the physical space because that space has now been altered. That's why they're making it into tourism because that level of perception is no longer fulfilling the spiritual conscious needs. It's just tourism. Now it's got to do with your presence and where do you find Allah and how do you heal and how do you forgive because you can't pay someone to forgive you. You have to forgive yourself. And if you want to forgive yourself, you must be able to speak the truth. هذا يوم الحق. هذا هو الجنة. The truth is the Jannah. The lie is the Jahannam. It's in your psychology. It's in your way of interaction. Now, you have to come to terms because the thing becomes clear for the next generation and he or she can see where the last generation are alive and suffering and being punished. It's not for you to know where you are in, it's for someone to see it from the outside and realize how deep we have been submerged. Okay? So, mashallah, there's a lot of efforts being done, people. Lots of efforts from everyone all over the earth that has pure hearts to ensure that the next generations will have a much more complete understanding of the divine journey and how to interact with the unlimited resources of the heavens and how to regulate it, how to safeguard it, how to economize it, and how to build for sustainable lifestyle modules that's not going to bring easily a God such as the idol of money to destroy as what it destroyed the last generation. This is your order. That's why the crypto is coming in because we have to understand now value tables and what is money as a tool and what is finance and what is it that we are being prayed for. All these things is necessary to clarify so that we finally can realize that what effect the God of money had on our connection with the God with the heavens and the earth. This is how we have to decode this current position of ours so that we come into clairvoyance and give the baton clean. You can't give a toxic baton. You must give something which is pure to the next generations, not something that has been contaminated between petrol and diesel or something which is electric. It's not on that scale. It is here where you have to ensure through your commitment, through your dedication, through your connection, through your ancestral pride that you can offer a new spiritual path that will bring eternal blaze and bliss to the future, where you see your Jannah to be a reality. So, mashallah, may you always find the light of Allah. May you always find ways and means of collaborating in order to make this a matter of pride for your ancestors, love for your Creator, and love and commitment to beautifying your akhlaq, beautifying your ways of interacting, your ways of thinking. You know, when your energy is clean, you think clean. When your energy is dirty, then dim the faith. Okay? Those areas must be clean so that you can swim a clean sea of conscious, inshallah. So, Jazakallah for your time. Thank you so much. May Allah bless you and grant your ancestors, yani barakat, in all their dimensions that you find their wisdom. And may you always, always share with your children the greatness of your mother and your father, and share with them the stories that you alone uniquely experience, so that it can be said and not just be yani experienced. Shukran jazilan to one and all. Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
يا مصطفى